Okay. I'm filling in here. I haven't done this part before, so understand that we talk about our mission and we talk about our pledge. Can we first get our pledge, please?
Yes, you can. Oh, I thought I had one, but I'm not finding it. Give me just a minute here. I'm on a different computer and it doesn't have all the screens I'm used to.
It's okay. We can just verbalize it, just put our hands on our hearts and verbalize the pledge.
Everybody mute yourself. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And would someone read the club mission? I don't have it in front of me, and I know it's.
I don't either.
Let me see if I can get the.
I can wing it and say
Thank
that
you, Roz.
we provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to
Develop.
That's a shame I can't remember the whole thing.
Develop greater self-confidence and personal growth. How's
right.
That?
That's great. That's great. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Roz. We're so excited today that we're going to be pursuing this theme for our mastermind. Today is our mastermind meeting. And when you think about the mastermind, it's an opportunity for you to grow and soar to the next level with what? New information. So today is going to be an exchange opportunity. And when you think about mastermind, I mean, when you think about our theme today, which is conflict resolution, people are not excited about conflict resolution, are they? Let's be real. People hate conflict. They don't want to be involved. But conflict, as I've grown to over the years to appreciate the concept of conflict. And the conflict is in your mind, you get to share and grow when you have an opportunity to understand what it's really about. And just a look word about it. Conflict resolution is a process of ending a dispute and reaching an agreement that satisfies all parties involved. You hear that part? That satisfies all parties involved. And so by the whole concept is conflict is to make sure that you grow through the experience. I look at conflict as an opportunity for contribution from both parties to have a winning situation. So we're going to look at that concept today in conflict resolution. And I want to introduce for you, first of all, our educational minute. The man with the mission who knows about the energy of how to make a business run and tick is the mastermind man himself who's going to give us an educational minute. That is Charles Razzie. Take it away with our educational minute. Thank you. Charles, are you here?
I don't see him.
Okay. Well, we have a chance to grow through an educational minute. And like I say, it's not what you got, but what you do with what you got. So think about this. What do you do with what you got throughout your lifetime, throughout your life now? You have an opportunity to do that. And I like the awesome man, Dr. Stephen Covey, who's famous for his 7 habits of highly effective people. And from that perspective, you take perspectives and things that happen to your life, but you got to begin with the end in the mind. That's one of the 7 things he talks about with his highly effective principles. Begin with the end in mind. And oftentimes people don't think about things from that perspective. So from this perspective, thinking about the end in mind, what's your bottom line destination? If you can view the destination first before you begin, then you're on your way because you see the whole picture from a holistic perspective. So for our educational minute, I just want to suggest to you, think about that. Begin with the end in mind. As entrepreneurs, that's our mindset because we're always thinking about how do we make the business grow and flow. And so from that perspective, let's go forward. Begin with the end in mind, and whatever you're doing, whatever you're pursuing, and you will go much further in your mindset by having that perspective. All right? You appreciate those comments this morning? Woohoo! Let's do it. So now to introduce our Toastmaster of the day. Oh, first of all, our timer is going to be Bon Wang. Would you please tell us the timing rules?
Yes, Madam Toastmaster. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and the guest. I am excited to serve as the timer for today's meeting. Today's is a mastermind, so a little bit special. We will go through this big session right away with typically, if I remember correctly, is about 40 to 45 minutes session led by our master this morning, Suzanne. So what I will do to show the timing signal is after Suzanne start, Suzanne, when you reach 40 minutes, I will change my...
Okay, I would like, so I'm at the red. So please give me the green at 38, the
38,
yellow
okay.
at 39, and the red at 40. And that will include any Q&A that we have time for, but I want to begin with the end.
Okay.
40 is the end, thank you, yes.
Is a Q&A on top after these 40 minutes or include?
No, it includes the whole thing, 40 minutes. The Q&A will probably be 5 or so, the presentation, and depending upon what else you want to know.
Okay, it's all clear. Then I will give my timer's report. Thank you.
Thank you.
Back to you, Melinda.
Thank you very much, Bond. Okay, we're moving forward with our mastermind theme, which is conflict resolution. But let me introduce our host today of our mastermind, Suzanne Leonard. Woohoo! Suzanne Leonard is a 13-year Toastmaster today. Today makes 13 years for her being a Toastmaster. Let's clap for her. Congratulations. And she has been active in Toastmasters and understands the value of Toastmasters around the district. She's been very busy throughout her career in the 13 years that she has been serving in her leadership roles. And she has the mindset and understands the value of giving back in the district and has been proactive with that. And so she decided to give back in District 12. Now she became president of her Toastmaster Club. She also was our area director and a division director. She's been a busy woman. And then she got bold and joined the trail to become a trailblazer in doing the leadership role. So she began her path serving as club growth director, then program quality director, and then our District 12 director in 2021-2022. How exciting. Recently, she had the opportunity to attend an event where she got to learn some concepts about conflict and the importance of how we can value your life to help you infuse your life with respect, wisdom, and courage. So today, she is going to take us on a journey to be proactive in conflict resolution. So there's a part where we all get to take a part today. So let's get started. I welcome to the stage the awesome Suzanne Leonard, conflict resolution. Suzanne Leonard, take it away, Suzanne.
Thank you, Melinda. So glad to be here and share what I've learned with you. And like I said, there's a part for all of you later on in my presentation. And welcome guest. Glad to see you, Mia. So here's the
What is
Suzanne, I can't
frozen?
hear you.
These are.
begin with that peaceful mindset. Secondly, positive collaborations will become part of your Toastmaster and entrepreneur toolkit. And successful, completed projects come out of those positive collaborations. So this morning I am drawing the content from 3 sources, and I'm going to ask you to also give me latitude as I set up my presentation. It's a PowerPoint of sorts, but I'm in it. Here we go. First of all, Charlotte Noggle, a distinguished Toastmaster and so much more, presented at our recent Toastmasters Leadership Institute in June, conflict resolution. She had a whole afternoon of activities for us, and I took copious notes, as I am like to do. But I'm going to take just a small portion of what she had to say, with her permission, in that avenue. Secondly, as I was going through my notes on conflict resolution, I came across a piece that I was able to, when I attended the TRIO mid-year conference in 2022, I was able to pull a piece from a workbook we did called Healthy Conflict Resolutions. Because oftentimes we think of conflict as the Scrabble on the street. You know, we get in, there's a punch here, punch there, fighting and biting. Doesn't need to be that way, and that's not what I'll present to you today. And third, I had an opportunity this past weekend to attend a wonderful seminar, and there was a person who presented a piece on the important part of presence, getting yourself ready to move into the idea of solutions in a conflict. So oftentimes we want to keep the drama going, but that doesn't get us to the end place. So like Melinda said, we begin with the end in mind. What do we want to have happen? We put on the blinders. So that's the background from which I'll speak with you this morning. But first, let's set the stage. Let's get into that intrapersonal space where we bring our best self to the table. So if it's comfortable for you, I'd ask you to close your eyes or just get in a quiet place and let my voice be your voice as we bring forth those qualities in you that will lead to intrapersonal presence and a real promise for the conflict to be solved because you're there in your highest, best self. Ready? All right, so let's just take a breath. Breathing in and breathing out that breath of spirit. And I'm asking you to identify, let my voice be your voice as I move you through the intrapersonal piece. I have a strong awareness of my emotional state and feelings. I enjoy reflecting and exploring new ideas. I access my strength and my weaknesses. I have excellent self-awareness and strong empathy. I understand and can articulate my beliefs and emotions. Come back from that experience. So that's who you are. That's who you're bringing to this particular situation. And what an opportunity for us today as we embody these ideas to become a master communicator, a solution finder, and a problem solver. So this particular skill, however, helps pave the way. in and of itself, it can be a conflict resolution rock star. Can anyone guess what this one very important part of conflict resolution might be? Anyone have a guess? Have a thought? You're absolutely right. Thank you for bringing that out. Active listening, listening, and listening more. Being present to the moment, actively listening, makes that person, those people in your group, feel heard, important, and valued. Those are important aspects of conflict resolution. Oftentimes, if we can actively listen, we can diffuse anything that needs to come before the table or the board or whatever it is by listening. So let's remember these ideas as I move you through the process. All right, I'm ready to do my slides now, and then your part will come up, and then we'll have some Q&A. All right, so you can all see me, I hope. I'm going to step out for just a moment and bring forth the first slide. And here we are. Frankie and I tested this morning, so here is the first one. Now the important question is, can you see it?
Yes. Yes. Looking good.
Next time it will be larger, but this is the first time I presented it in a hybrid solution. So last time it was in a different, but it is now. So here is the cycle of it. We begin right up here with the intrapersonal piece, which is your piece, the part that you just did. I'm going to move my screen over here just a little bit. Yeah. Part that you just did. Checking in, we can call it. Getting ready to take it to the interpersonal level. And this could be a one-on-one, or it could be a small group, but you're ready. So you bring your best self to whatever is going to be happening. And then that positive experience leads us to a bigger stage, which is the interpersonal group discussion. And from that, this is a repeatable cycle. So you're present, good communication has happened, good communication gets bigger, and that goes to new projects. You're setting the template for success. Does that make sense? All right, here's the second piece of that I really love. You bring what you've just done to the next project. So you've decided, you've completed a project, it's been successful. Now the skills that you'll learn today continue. You have positive creativity because in that first round you brainstormed. You had the collective creative consciousness working for this solution. Make sense? So you have strong communication skills. You begin to understand where everyone is in the solution and what is applicable, what will come forth as a plan. So you have creativity, strong communication, better solutions, which leads to growth of relationships right here. Better relationships because you begin to know who you are and what geniuses or gifts you bring to the table. So hopefully you're feeling heard, understood, and important in the process. Make sense? So completed successful projects. This is ongoing. The plan, the way you did it, the secretary of the meeting is keeping record of how you did this. So you just bring it out again, it's repeatable. So everything that you'll learn and value today and take notes about and remember are repeatable. Isn't that a good thing? Don't you want to not have to start from scratch every time? It's a recipe. It's an idea that will serve you again and again, not just today, as you put it to use if there's a conflict in your life happening interpersonally. You need to get right with yourself, something you need to maybe journal about or speak with someone about? All right, so that's what it is in an idea. Here's how it looks step by step. Bring it down a little bit. Thank you for your patience as I articulate my PowerPoint. Can you read that? Can you see that? Okay. So here it is. Some steps to resolve conflict. And there are 7 of them, but they're important. You've heard probably some of them before, but maybe not packaged quite like this. First of all, you have to acknowledge that there's a conflict. You can't skate around it forever. You can't say maybe it will solve itself, because it won't. You have to engage in the activity of solving this. So acknowledge, make it known. Houston, we have a problem, is how you engage in this idea from the beginning. Acknowledge it. Here's the second piece. You want to have a check-in before you decide and articulate emotions. Maybe there's someone who's come to this meeting who just had to take their child to the hospital, or their dog passed away, or some activity where they're not fully present. Your job is to get yourself settled in your highest self as best possible. So you bring ideas, a solution, creativity. You have to put the blinders on and just give your precious time to this collaborative moment. Does that make sense? So that's the check-in. Check in and articulate what your emotions are. And you can just say, if I'm a little quiet today, it's just because I've had to put my dog down that I've had 14 years. Who can relate to that? Where they need, to kind of be quiet in the situation. And that's perfectly okay. Secondly, you clarify and you understand what's on the table. What are we talking about? And it's one conflict at a time. Don't bring all the old, well, this didn't happen and that didn't happen and she and this. No, just today's, again, blinders, just this one conflict, because it's important that you integrate and get through the whole process. Does that make sense? You don't want to go off on tangents, because you'll spend the whole day discussing and you won't move through the process to solution to the win-win. Make sense? All right. Then you set that positive intention. The positive intention, like Melinda alluded to, you begin with the end in mind. What's our positive intention? We didn't come here to Scrabble or to take things personally. We came with a situation that we've clarified. So we understand what the issue is, we understand what the conflict is, and we have pledged to a positive intention as we set the stage for the plan. Got it? Say check in, make sure everybody's there, clarify what you're going to be talking about, make it very clear, one point, one conflict at a time. Hopefully there maybe is just one on the table for you right now. And if there are many, what's the most important thing? What's the most important thing as a group, as a CEO of an organization? What's the most important thing to handle right now? It could be that production is off, that finances have become tight, but what's the most important thing? Solve that. And as a repeatable process, the next part will reveal itself. Make sense? All right. Here's the fun part. Actually, it's all the fun part, but here's the fun part. Now we're exploring. Now we're exploring win-win options. Now the brainstorming table is open for business. So there's no idea too small or no idea too big to write down. So you have your secretary employed here big time who has a whiteboard or something to write on. And you begin to explore. You just put them out there. Oh, I think we need this. I think maybe we need a fundraiser. I think we should. And Engage everyone. Everyone has a say-so right here. We're exploring win-win options. Now we're going to share and communicate where those go in a projected outcome. So as you employ your win-win options, where's that going to lead you? Here's where you begin the questioning. What do we want to have happen? Of course, you've begun with the end in mind, a perfect solution as much as possible with a win-win idea, but there's a process that's involved here, sharing and communicating that projected outcome. Okay, it's going to be positive, it's going to be good. So we need to give room for how it's going to look, because it may be an out-of-the-box idea that you collaboratively are willing to employ. Well, maybe we need to increase our product line, or maybe we need to join another media. Maybe we need to be on LinkedIn or something else that will present us so we're findable in the world as entrepreneurs. I love that word that's coming. So you're findable. So you are, and what you're doing is findable, that you're a conflict solver. And that's an important thing as you keep growing and going forward in your business. All right. So in beginning with the end in mind, as Melinda had opened with and talked about Stephen Covey's work, the end in mind for this project. Because once you start brainstorming, you're going to come up with ideas that are not pertinent to today's conflict. Does that make sense? Once you get the juices flowing, you're going to be thinking, oh, I could do this over here, or I could do that over there. Nope. Stay focused. What do you want to have happen today? The mind for this particular conflict. Got it? And what do you want to have happen? What is the end result? This little heart says, how do you feel at the end of this day, at the end of this conflict resolution meeting? Do you feel happy? Do you feel contented with where we're going with this? Do you feel that everything has been covered? Do you feel heard? Do you feel important? Was your information in the brainstorming session put to good use? Or was it tabled for another idea? Did the leader of the group say, Roz, that's a great idea. Let's save that for this conflict that may be going on, this solution that may be, or Nez, that's great. Let's have you be captain of the team that leads us forward with that idea, because we've discovered some things on our way to the solution for today. Does that make sense? You've opened your mind to possibilities, and now you don't want to shut it down, but you want to put it in places where you can come back to it. Make sense? All right, those are the processes. Those are the ideas. Those are the things that you want to employ, those 8 steps. Now, let's take a quick review of what those have said to us and how easy they will be to remember. All right, here we go. Thank you while I set the final stage for this part. All right, see that? Up a little bit more. There we go. So the first thing that we did was acknowledge, Houston, we have a problem. Then we checked, let me make that a little straighter. Bring it up maybe a little bit more. Thank you for your patience. Okay, there it is. First we acknowledged, then we checked in with our emotions. Then we clarified just the conflict that we're working on today. Just remember, one at a time. Then we set a positive intention. What we want to have happen. What we want to have happen at the end of the day is some kind of solution. And then we explored through that wonderful brainstorming, creative time. And we shared what we came up with. What did we come up with as a possible solution here? And then we begin. We say, all right, we got the plan, so now let's begin. What do you notice about those words? Acknowledge, check. clarify, set, explore, share, begin. What kind of word are they? They, thank you for sharing, are verbs. And what are verbs? Right, action words. Action. A plan doesn't do any good if you just fold up your papers, shelve it, and say, what a good day we had. Nope, nope, nope. Right now, right here in this conflict, whatever it is, gets addressed. You know, if it's been an afternoon meeting, then everybody has their part in how they're going to handle this conflict. You've delegated some ideas. You're going to have a follow-up meeting perhaps before you go out and perform as a team this very important piece. Got it? All right. Here's your part coming up. Are you ready? While you're in the arena of solving, your language is important. And as you work together as a team, what you say and how you say it should make that person feel heard, understood, important to the process. So what I'm going to do is hold up right here. Okay, I'll come over here. Now, can everybody read that? Can you see it? And then I'm going to ask somebody to read it. Okay, so these are important ideas that come forth through your conversation that make everyone feel important, valued, heard. So I'm going to ask you after you read it, how did it sound? What did you feel if you were the person in this conversation? All right, Nez, I'll begin with you. All right, here's yours. Let me get over here so I see the best way to present this. Can you see it? Okay, you want to read it?
Yes. What's one action we can both agree on as our next step?
Yeah. So someone has said that to you in the conversation. How did that make you feel? What do you feel as an important part of this process? You want to
It's
share?
Okay.
Here it is. Here it is. What's that? Okay, read it again.
What's one action we can both agree on as our next step?
Yes.
For me, it's like you're focused on one action. You don't need to take several actions. There's just one focused action that is required to begin with.
Okay, good. Thank you. So with this one, let me get over here. With this one, what's one action, is the word, that we can both agree on? So you're focused exactly as our next step. So this is a move forward question, right? Good job. All right. All right. Mia, are you willing to play? Would you? Sorry. All right. Sorry. All right. Here we go. Oh, wrong one. We just answered that. All right. Nez, are you ready? You want to play? Are you there, Nez? Yeah?
You called
Nez
on
or
Mia.
Mia? Mia.
Oh, sorry, Mia. Yeah, Nez we've already had. Can you see this?
I'm actually looking at this through a phone, so it is really difficult to see it. Is it all right if I skip this go around? Next time I'll use a laptop, I promise.
Okay, no worries, no worries. Let me read it to you and you can respond. Would that be okay? It says this. Please correct me where I am wrong. Here is what I am hearing so far. How does that sound to you? What do you feel when you hear that? Please correct me where I am wrong. Here is what I am hearing so far. Mia?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, all
Yes.
right. How does that sound? How does that feel?
It sounds like you're on the route to building a healthy resolution, and I feel included.
Exactly. Included, that you are important in the conversation, in the process, that your brainstorming ideas are included and on the way to the solution. Thank you for playing. All right, Bond,
Yes,
your turn. Okay, here's yours. Can you read it?
it reads, how can I do to support you right now?
Yes.
I think it feels positive. It set a very good intention to look for the issues that we are facing now. So I think it applies 2 or 3 points among those 8 points you just provided us. Set positive intention, clarify and understand issues. I think they apply very well to these 2 points and set up the stage with this person you are talking to move forward effectively. I think that is a very good intention and a very good strategy to move along with this person you are speaking to.
Thank you, Bond. All right, Roz, this one is for you. Here it is. Can you read it?
No, I can't. Can you read it out loud?
I will. It says, I am curious how this looks from your perspective.
Okay, that's a clarifying question where you want to make sure that you understand what they're asking you and your perspective of how to handle it or how to solve it. I'm curious how this looks from your perspective because your perspective is important to me in order to help resolve this issue.
Absolutely. That's the brainstorming part where everybody brings their best idea to the table. Melinda, I have one for you. Are you there? There you are. All right. So I think I will have covered everything. All right, Melinda, can you read that?
Let's start with what we agree. What's I can't see the bottom. Is that it's what we agree on? Let's start with what we agree on. Let's start with what we agree on.
Yes.
To me, that concept says we're both involved in the conversation. We've both participated. We've already clarified. So let's make sure we're on the same page. And I've listened to you clearly to reciprocate and say back what I think we both agreed on. And let's make sure we're on the same page in that agreement.
Very good. Thank you very much. Because that leads us forward and there's no stumbling blocks and nobody says, I didn't say that. I didn't agree to that. So you're going back and recapping. Excellent strategy. You want to make sure that people understand as the process moves. And if you ever have a furrowed brow or somebody that kind of sits back in their seat, you watch body language as master communicators, body language as a communicator. Or if they cross their arms and sit back, red flag. They're out of the game. Does that make sense to you? So while you're presenting this idea, you're watching and you're listening and you're looking to see who's on and who's dropped off the wagon, and you have to go back and pick them up or clarify, does that make sense? Let's revisit that idea for a moment for Nez or Melinda, not quite with us. And that doesn't mean that you're slow or any of those things. It just means some people take longer to process, and we have to give them the patience and the place to take a breath and say, I just, Suzanne or Roz or whoever's leading, I just need to think about that for a moment. Great. It isn't that I don't understand, but I'm taking it in, which is what you want people to do along the way, because this is a solution that you're going to have. These are steps that you want to employ again and again. And the clearer it is, the more you're likely to go to it and employ it. Does that make sense? Excellent. Good job.
The goal right here is a reflective listening. Reflective listening is the goal.
That's it. That's it. Thank you. All right. So engaging in healthy conflict. This is the piece that I took away from mid-year training that I, filed and said, I'll use it someday. And I'm going through those files and pulling up those things that I think are germane to messages that I want to give out. So here is from the book Getting to Yes. Hands up if any of you've read the book Getting to Yes by Roger Fisher and William Ury. And of course, as entrepreneurs, people who are selling a service or a product, we want our people to get to a yes without conflict, without them feeling pressured or anything like that, because they'll pull back. And so there might be conflict. They might question you on the process or the product or the price. So that's not a big conflict, but that's, kind of a mini. You have to address that as an entrepreneur. So they say always separate the people from the problem. So when you come into a conflict resolution, it's not about you and them. It's about us coming to an agreement about this particular conflict. Does that make sense? There are no sides. There's no right or wrong. There's just the solution ahead of us that we're going to reach collectively, friendly, no fighting, no biting. Okay, we're adults. And then the second one is that brainstorming process is so important because it allows that creativity to flow within the group. And everybody has input. And if you have input in an idea or solution, you're more likely to support it. Does that make sense? Instead of crossing your arms and saying, well, they didn't give me time to say whatever I needed to say. No, we want to hear your idea. You're part of the collective process. So focus on that brainstorming. And also what you want to do is allow them time. Allow them time. Like some people are going to come out quickly. Some are going to need to process a little more slowly. So here's what happens just by employing those two ideas. You strengthen the relationship because you build trust that you're going to be heard and that you're going to be valued. Make sense? Secondly, it fosters respect. I attended that meeting. It was about conflict. I wasn't quite sure, but they heard my ideas and I felt present and appreciated. So that person, that group, is more likely to want to participate again. And when they hear the word conflict resolution, they're not scared. Got it? And then, of course, it improves trust. And all those things are important when you're moving through conflict. They'll trust you or your company or whatever the situation is, again, because of the way they met with you the first time. Make sense? All right. So as we close and open it up to further questions and ideas, think about these things. Points to consider. And this again is from the workshop and also from the mid-year training information, but important. In conflict, am I taking time to even consider what might be going on in their world? Am I taking time to consider what might be going on in this person's or this company's world? Perhaps they're a new company and they've got some stumbling blocks, but they have great ideas and great staff and all of that. So in their world, personally or collectively, what might be going on that I may not know about? And secondly, what's important to them at this time? Is it staying afloat as a company? Is it supporting employees who, someone has COVID and somebody else's mom, employs emotional, impactful ideas? Am I asking myself what's important to them at this time? Remember, it's one conflict at a time. So what's on their plate right now? And how can I support that? Remember, empathy is very important in conflict resolution. Do they just need a good listening to? Do they just need support? You know, after all is said and done, do you just need to stop by their desk and say, you had a cup of coffee? You were a little quiet there. Normally you give more in our meetings, even though this was about conflict. And I know that's not your favorite subject. For many of us up till now, it hasn't been, because we haven't put the blinders on and had the tools to move into it with competence and confidence and trust that my colleagues and I, my business partner, can figure this out. Between us all, there is a positive solution. Okay. Do they just need to know that they're understood by you? Do you just need to broach the conversation with, Melinda, or Nez, I heard what you didn't say today, and I'm concerned. You have the relationship in the business world. I'm concerned if there's any way I can support you in something that has to do with this. Not their whole work. You're not their counselor, but in this particular project, are they just have great ideas but are reticent in putting them out? Yeah, find out what may be going on. Perhaps what might be really important to that person at this time is to feel important and understood. And the conversation may go something, Suzanne or Melinda or Mia, thank you for stopping by. There has been some things on my emotional plate, but I appreciate your support. And as we follow through with our solution, I am on the team. All is well. Take a breath. That's a win-win, gentle conversation. And that colleague, that person, that vendor is more likely to reach out to you and your process when the next conflict comes along. Make sense? So here's what it says on my Toastmaster cup. Raise your hand if you have a cup like this. It's a clear cup. You can get it from Toastmasters International. It happens to say this: Bond has a cup. Understanding comes through communication. And through communication, we find our way to peace. So listen. Listen. Listen, Madam Toastmaster. So that's the official. You're welcome. That's the official presentation. Now, I think we probably have some minutes because I didn't see a green from Bond. So if you have something you'd like to add or something that you've read on conflict resolution or a question, I'm happy to field whatever you may ask. So hands up, clarity, question, anything, because I think we have some time left.
Roz's hands is up.
Yeah, hi,
Yes.
Roz.
Hi there. Thank you so much, Suzanne. I learned a lot from your presentation because listening is important. People get so riled up and excited about perhaps the wrong thing. And so they're going in another direction, and that was not the intent of the original content. The communication has to be adhered to. So listening is very important, and I picked that up. Engaging and checking in with people. My daughter does not like conflict. She avoids it very much. So when her demeanor becomes very quiet, or she'll be, okay, and she shuts down, she's not still engaged, and she's ready to walk away, then it's like, okay, something's not right. Let's step back. And so the steps that you gave us was to clarify and to look at the projected outcome as though, wait a minute, this person was left behind. Let me go back, pick them up, and put them back in the game. And that's what I really appreciated about your presentation. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. We're at yellow, so maybe one or two other comments so we come in on time, because that's what we do as Toastmasters. We're respectful of what has been asked, and you asked me for 40 minutes. Yes, Frankie, go ahead.
Yes, I know oftentimes these steps are wonderful because they kind of pull the sting out of the conflict. Often there's fear coming from not being right, not looking good. The two things that used to mess with my ego is, you know, looking good and being right. And we need to leave that at the table when we come to resolving conflicts. And and that's one of the questions I've become very comfortable with lately, is how can I support you in whatever it is you're doing? So thank you for this. I put the questions and everything in the chat. So
Perfect.
if you guys want to save the chat, and there's also a document that has those steps on it that you can download.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak with you about conflict resolution and how we can soften it and keep it present and use these steps again. Like I said, this is a repeatable process, and you'll gain strength from it, and your colleagues will feel heard and valued and important. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Suzanne. Okay, we appreciate all your valuable interaction and feedback, everyone, for participating in learning about conflict resolution. It gives you like what Frankie said, it takes the sting out of it. I like that word, Frankie, takes the sting out of it. All right, moving along, we're going to call on our general evaluator, Bond. Would you be so kind to evaluate our meeting and take us to what you saw, what you heard, what you felt?
Yes, Madam Toastmaster. Firstly, I will give my timers report. Suzanne spoke in this presentation for 41 minutes, 4 seconds. Pretty much recent time, given we had this Q&A session at the end of the meeting. Thank you so much, Suzanne. And here is my overall evaluation of today's meeting. For sure, another successful meeting. We started on time. We started a little lower attendance, but this is for sure a small and mighty meeting. We went through all these necessary sessions for a meeting, especially for a Toastmaster Mind meeting. And our Madam, the presiding officer, also Toastmaster Melinda, did a wonderful job. Even she started her tasks before the meeting starts and getting through the agenda, calling out all the members, set up the meeting roles. And, I'm so glad Melinda get on board of this tough role very effectively. I'm sure you have carried this torch or baton from previous VPE, Ross Carter, very well and very efficiently. Appreciate your work. I think Melinda started the meeting in a very positive tone, addressing our guest very well, and let guest introduce herself about her background. By the way, welcome, Mia. I'm glad you came and hope you keep coming to our meeting. Later on, we might be asking you about your feedback to our session or to our meeting in general. And no doubt, Suzanne, you gave us a wonderful, informative, insightful, and very, very educational presentation. Our feedback session, we already give you some feedback and suggestions and our thoughts. And I think you did a great job. I learned a lot. There are some points I didn't, of course, considering timing, I didn't have the chance to ask that. I really would like to hear more insights from you about controlling emotions. I happened to read an article, a big article recently regarding the conflict resolution, where it says staying calm or calmness is a superpower. Before you get into the conflicts, stay calm and stay unbiased is such an important status before you really get into these conflicts. I think you address that very well, not specifically, but throughout all the points, 8 points, you did mention multiple times how important it is to stay calm, stay positive, because if you lose your emotion, you could lose a lot of stance throughout this whole process. I really personally, I would love to hear more insights from you regarding how to control emotion. There is a saying like, let your emotion lead your way. Or you should go on the other side, control your emotion. Which one is the right answer? Or in the specific presentation, which solution we should get along with? I really want to like to. Sometimes I'm the person who loses emotion facing the conflict. So I want to learn something from you regarding this emotion. Also, the end of the presentation, I noticed that you presented some more points to conclude this presentation. I noticed they are very interesting and very powerful. Like would you consider taking time to consider other sides situation, or would you consider what's on the other side's plate? That's really very interesting and very good perspective. I would like to see you put them on this paper presentation and give us a more visual material or information to help us remember those points. And at this point, I want to give a big appreciation to Frankie. Frankie, you are so fast. As I wrote in my private chat, I'm absolutely impressed by Frankie's fast writing, typing, and catch up information so clearly and so effectively to repeat all those questions, even put in her own opinions throughout some sessions. So thank you, Frankie. And you did a wonderful job helping us catching some key points in this presentation. All in all, we have been running great, even a smaller meeting, but absolutely it's a mighty meeting. I really enjoy being part of this meeting. Thank you everyone for your participation. With that said, I conclude my general evaluation. I will turn this whole meeting back to Madam Toastmaster, Melinda.
Thank you, Bon, for your feedback and evaluation of our meeting today. Thank you all for your participation in our mastermind today. I'd like to ask our guests to give us your feedback on what you thought about our meeting today, please. Maya and Ness.
Nez, would you like to go first, please?
Nez is a member.
I was surprised. Maybe Melinda doesn't remember me because sometimes I'm absent.
Because you're so quiet, Nance.
I should speak more during meetings. Anyway, it's a great meeting. Welcome, Mia. It's your turn.
Thank you. Sorry about that. I thought we were newbies. So thank you for putting me out there, Nez. I really appreciate it. Great conflict resolution. My thoughts on the meeting is I have to say, Suzanne, you have a very, I don't know, a mindfulness facilitation to your presentation. You were very calm. I like the way you speak. It's very well paced. It's very soothing. I feel like you should be a mindfulness coach, especially at the university because the students need it given the, the tense. I really appreciate being at this meeting. Roz, thank you so much for reaching back to me. And Frankie, thank you. Big shout out for putting my book in there. I was like, what? What's going on here? So it kind of made me blush a little bit. But Roz, honestly, thank you for inviting me. Like I said, UCR has a Toastmasters organization on campus, but I think they're on hiatus for the summer. And so when I was Googling Toastmaster programs around the Inland Empire, I found this, and Roz reached back out. I feel like this, you have like a methodical approach to conflict resolution, which is new. Usually with conflict resolution, the trainings that I've received, it's always about assessing and controlling and fixing, or if you can't fix it, knowing when to step back. But your approach is very methodical. It's like, okay, there's a conflict. Someone has their arms crossed, like you said, or raised brows, and we're going to try to figure that person out or figure out how to reach that person, which is different. And so I applaud you for your presentation. I applaud you for highlighting that, because that is conflict resolution, but it was very methodical in design, and kudos to you for that. I think everyone on here is well spoken. Bond, I believe your name is. Well, I can see it, it's right there. Bond, you are very meticulous. 41 minutes. I was like, did he really? I mean, everyone here is just extremely professional. Everyone here is really intelligent. So I kind of feel like, an outsider. I just write and I live in my own world in my head. So, you know what I mean? When I'm not taking care of my kids or being a band mom, this is like a refreshing experience for me. And so I'd be honored to join. I would like to see how the university could fund my application, because that would be something great. And I am an entrepreneur on the side. I write books, and now I'm getting into screenplay writing, because I just won 2 awards for my script, my very first script. And so I'm happy to see where that goes while I'm working at the University of California, Riverside. So thank you all. That's my assessment, a little bit about me and my appreciation for this session.
Thank you, Mia, for reaching out to our club. And I guess I'm the first responder for contact through Toastmasters International for our club. So we would welcome you to join us. What is the name of your book again?
It's in the chat. Remington Chronicles.
Yeah.
It's called Remington Chronicles?
No, the Remington Chronicles. Remington is a village in Alnwick, Northumberland, United Kingdom. So it's in England. It's south of Scotland. It has a wonderful history that the city or the village wants to keep hidden. And being from the Caribbean, being a foreigner myself, I'm a foreigner too, everyone. So if you're a foreigner, hey, hands up. Knowing that, researching that, and learning about England happened after I produced that book. I didn't even know Reddington existed. I just, the way I came up with the name is really weird, because it was a real village, and a lot of things in my story happened to have occurred in that story. It's a weird experience. It's a wonderful experience. And I'm looking forward to going to England next year, specifically that village if they'll have me, because it's a real place. It's a real place.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that information. And we will learn from you in this entrepreneur club, because we learn from each other, the various things that we're involved in. So hearing about your book or your experiences, or even what you do at UCR. I believe their club is called Speakeasy. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And I have visited that club several times in previous years. But anyway, very good. Glad you found us. See what you could do to join our club. We'd love to have you.
Okay, I will.
Roz, the link
Yes.
is in the chat, so save the chat.
Okay,
Yes.
I don't know how to do that from my phone.
Oh, okay. I'll send it to you.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Firstly, I want to say thank you, Frankie, for quickly bringing up Mia's book. And I looked into the website, so I got it. And secondly, congratulations to Mia for publishing this book. I noticed you just published not long ago, right? 2002 or 2001. It's a new book. And I love this first sentence in the introduction. Freedom is a fool. Paradox. I'm so into this sentence, into this statement. I will look into this book and absolutely interested. And maybe our next mastermind session will be led by Mia. We do have, sometimes we have a guest master in our mastermind session. So look forward to that and look forward to seeing you, Mia, again. Thank you.
Yeah, 5th Wednesday. When does it happen again, Bon? Have you looked ahead?
I don't know. I haven't gotten into the
Has
calendar.
anybody looked ahead at the calendar to see when we have
Looks like
another month?
October.
Really?
Oh.
October already?
October
Next-
30th, yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
wow. We have the second one very close. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep coming to our meeting. We have this very special event in our club meeting, which is mastermind, and have one master to share all his or her experiences. It's very interesting. I don't want to miss any one single mastermind session in this club. So if we have the master from other field of profession, that would be great.
Roz, do you have Mia's contact information?
It was PF Felix.
I'll put it
Author?
in the chat. I'll put it in the chat.
Okay,
Okay.
awesome. Yeah. We come back for any of our meetings. Love to.
There
love
you
to
go.
talk to
Author
Not yet.
dot PF Felix.
Yeah.
Yes.
What we do with your email address, Mia, we will put this address into our list of newsletter recipients, and we will send you our meeting agenda and any promotional materials we send it to the public. With that, I'm sure you will learn more about our club, what we do, how we help our members grow, and hopefully you will come back with
And
one specific meeting. Yes.
Bon does our PR, and you should
Yes.
see all the wonderful things that he does for our club and on our Facebook page.
Oh, that would be wonderful. I have a small following. It's just 5,000 people, and I would love
What?
to. Well, I would love to, like,
Is it
connect.
small?
Well,
That's
it's small.
small.
Well, it's small for me. I mean, I'm new to this country. I'm new to, Facebook. I'm not into social media. Like I said, I try to be introverted. I live in my own world in my mind. And so now I have to get out there. And so I started a small following, and it started to grow a little bit piece by piece as people got interested in why is an African girl from the Caribbean writing about Jewish
Yeah,
people and Asians and Spanish people. Well, I'm from the islands. That's all I see: Asians, Spanish, and Jewish people. So it's really weird when other people are like, "You're Black? I didn't know that. How come it reads like this? How come you use ChatGPT?" I'm like, "What ChatGPT? What is this?" The reactions have been very, very funny. I've been asked to speak on the news until they found out who I was, and then it's like, "Oh, we'll get back to you." So it's like, it's a weird space. It's an exciting space, and it's a weird space. So I just went a little deeper. Went to grad school. Inducted into 2 honors programs: the English Honor Society and the Leadership Honor Society. And I'm pledging Sigma Gamma Rho to find a sisterhood to network into Black Hollywood.
Yes.
And so everyone's trying to help me, but it's slow. So, I don't know.
So Mia, you keep beating me up, who is a
I'm sorry.
PR guy, and you keep saying you are this is small followership, and you are new in this field, and you get 5,000 and still increasing. Wow, you put a lot of pressure on me.
No,
No, I'm kidding, of course, you know that.
He's just joking.
How do we find you on Facebook?
If you look up RC, this is my handle. You'll find it and you'll see RC. And
I will
leave
check that
is
out.
French.
Yeah.
It means, yeah, you'll see that I'm there.
RCLIVRE.
Yeah, leave is French for books.
Yeah.
And being Creole, you know, RC Reddington Chronicles, leave Reddington Chronicles book. And so
All
that's
right.
how I came up with that handle. You'll see me on there.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah.
We have quite a few authors or writers in this club. I'm writing regularly. We have other author. She is not here. Dr. Parker. She's a wonderful writer. I bought her book. Marietta, I think another member of our club also published a book. We have great podcasters in our club. Rose Carter is one of those, and she produced a really wonderful podcast, very specific, not really common sense, very niche. So we have a list of authors in our club. We share our hobbies, our interests about writing creatively. If you keep coming back, you will find some like-minded members or person in our club. Yeah, sounds good.
I do have a question. If I join Toastmasters through the university, does that cover the membership here, or is that a question for HR? Like, I don't know. I'm still new to this area, to the Paris area, and but I work at UCR. And so I'm trying to figure out how does that work with Toastmasters. If you're a member in one organization, are you automatically a member somewhere else, or do you have to pay dues in both places? And I can take this offline. I don't want to, I want to respect everyone's time, like everyone said earlier. I don't want to saturate the conversation. I can take this offline with someone.
No, it's
Ross
separate.
has the
Every
answer.
club it's separate. So you would have to pay $60 every 6 months to every club you join.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Okay, it's been an awesome morning today. We've learned a lot of information. We've all been enlightened today. And as entrepreneurs here, it's always about that enlightenment. And I appreciate that about this particular club. And here I just want to verbalize for you a closing thought. Be the best kind of person you can be. All right? If there's nothing
Okay.
else for the good of the order, Frankie, do you want to do the closing the meeting out for us?
Okay. Let's see. Let me get my trusty planner here. It's always a few words of wisdom. Let's see what today's message is. To one who has faith, no explanation is necessary. To one without faith, no explanation is possible. St. Thomas Aquinas.
Thank you for
That's
sharing
wonderful.
that.
Hold the faith.
Thank you, Frankie.
You're welcome.
Thank you. We should keep that in mind every meeting.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, have a great week. We'll see
Thank you
you
for attending
first
today.
Wednesday. That's next week. First